Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Allie and I'm going to be sharing some free spring/summer patterns with you all today. So if you're anything like me, kind of spring/warmer weather knits are a bit intimidating, and I think it's both because of the normal yarn choice that people recommend for obvious reasons, cotton, linen, silk, bamboo. Those are all very light and natural fibers that really don't hold heat as much as wool does. So those are typically recommended for the warmer months. And also the wearability. I have seen a lot of people talk about their summer kind of warmer weather or spring garments not being exactly the most wearable just because of various reasons, whether it be the yarn, the construction, the style, or just really enjoying more cozy knitted items rather than your kind of commercial tank tops or that kind of things. So I decided to look for some free patterns for both you and me, for those who are interested in maybe doing some warmer weather knits but aren't really set on making the commitment to do that yet. So I think free patterns are a really great way to kind of dive into those newer, different kind of knitting experiences that you may not be totally sold on. I think finding free patterns of things that you are hesitant on is a really great way to try out something, whether you knit the whole thing or really just read through or knit half of it and see how it goes, and then you can decide from there if you want to explore the option more or not. So I've put together about 10 free patterns that I've found on Ravelry. If you go into Ravelry, at least on the desktop page, and you hit the advanced search, there is a bunch of drop-down menus on the side, and you can filter by literally anything. But there is an option that you can hit for free patterns, and it will show you all the free patterns available on Ravelry. And of course, Ravelry is not the only place to get free patterns, but is where I personally find almost all of my patterns nowadays. But I'm sure there are a ton on YouTube or Instagram or probably TikTok, really any social media. But Ravelry today is where I've looked at and where all the patterns that I will be sharing will be linked to. I believe you do have to have a Ravelry account to download some things. I'm not sure about free patterns. You may not have to have it if you are downloading free patterns, but that is where all the patterns that I found today will come from and will link to down below. So I have a couple different categories. The first one I'm going to start with is accessories. So these are really just small, simple things that aren't necessarily season specific, but I think these are kind of things that I think about when it's spring/summer. And I keep saying summer too, but I think, well, right now when I'm recording this, it's the beginning of April, so spring is slowly coming to an end and summer is coming up soon. And I know here it's been quite warm lately, so I'm gonna call this the spring/early summer kind of patterns because I think that'll fit it best. So the very first accessory I want to talk about is the Soho Scrunchie by Tori Yu. So there are chances that you have probably seen this scrunchie before or maybe a different version, but I specifically have had this scrunchie pattern saved by Tori Yu after it was recommended to me. And so I would like to recommend it to you all too in case you have not seen it. So this is any gauge, any weight, any size yarn pattern. So really anything that you have in your stash, this is literally perfect for stash busting. I know a lot of times I feel like I see people say that and I'm like, is it stash busting though? Because I always feel like I don't have enough of one yarn or I have weird colors left over, but I think this is truly a stash busting project right here. So there are different weights and different pretty much in-depth information based on what kind of yarn you use. So I will maybe pop it up somewhere, or you can just look at the pattern. It says it before you even download it, but since it is made for any weight of yarn, there's a lot of different options, a lot of different needle sizes and stitch counts and stuff. So if you're interested in it, you can go ahead and download it, and it has all that information in there. But I think this is just like such a perfect pattern, not only for maybe a beginner knitter that is looking to really start getting into making projects rather than perhaps just making a bunch of gauges, or like, I feel like a lot of people think of scarves as their first knitting project, but I think this is really something perfect, and it's also really practical for any weather as well. So on the Ravelry, you can see all the different kinds of pictures of the sizes, the yarn choices. It's just beautiful. I think this is such a perfect project for any time of the year, and really for anyone. I mean, whether you use it as a physical hair scrunchie or maybe like a fashion statement or like a gift for someone, I think this is just like a good, perfect pattern, honestly. I really want to make one, and now that I have like a decent amount of scraps in my stash, I think I will make one for the summer. So that is the Soho Scrunchie by Tori Yu. The next accessory I want to talk about is called the Dahlia Hair Tie Bow by Isabel Cecilia. So this is kind of in the same like hair accessory category, but accessory category as the scrunchie. But this is just a really delicate, simple hair tie, like bow. And it is so beautiful and so dainty that I think this could also go with anything, paired up with some jeans, a skirt, a dress. I think this is just so beautiful. And also, this is definitely not just spring, summer specific. This would look great for the holidays and like a beautiful red or green or, anytime. But I think what really drew this to me for this particular video is the like mohair-esque vibe that I get from the images on Ravelry. So this is a fingering weight garment, or accessory, I should say. It is used with two lace held together, which I'm going to assume is mohair according to the pictures, but you could use any kind of lace, but those are typically mohair anyway, or just a single weight fingering. Single strand fingering, there we go. The gauge for this is 24 stitches by 36 rows for 4 inches, and the recommended needle size is a US 4 or 3.5 millimeter. The yardage recommended for this project is 48 to 110 yards or 44 to 101 meters. There are two lengths in this, well, I guess two sizes available for this pattern. There is a large size and a small size. The recommended yarn is 2 strands of kid silk lace by Hedgehog Fibers, but again, you could use a single strand of fingering or any kind of mohair that you have in your stash. That is the Dahlia Hair Tie Bow by Isabel Cecilia. The next accessory that I want to talk about is not necessarily an accessory, but I guess I'm categorizing socks as accessories, but this is a sock pattern. This is called, and apologies if I pronounce this wrong, the Fiorti socks by Lisa Schmidt. And this is just this beautiful, like, diamond lace sock that just, the picture with the tulips that is featured on Ravelry doesn't help calm down the spring screaming that it yells at me when I see it, but I think the pastel pink, and even there's a purple version on here, is just so gorgeous. It is so spring, so like going through the flower fields and like just embodying spring itself, and I think it is beautiful, and I cannot believe that this is a free pattern. Like, as someone who wants to get into sock knitting, the amount of free sock patterns is insane. Like, I cannot express the amount of free sock patterns that are beautiful like this and not just like the normal sock patterns. Like, it is crazy to me, and I can't wait to like start collecting them all and saving them to make, because there are some truly beautiful sock patterns for free. So this is a light fingering sock with the gauge of 30 stitches by 40 rows for 4 inches. The recommended needle size is a US 1.5 or 2.5 millimeters. The recommended yardage is between 252 and 372 yards or 230 by 340 meters. The sizes available are small, medium, and large. And this is just so beautiful. It's knit from the cuff down with a German short row heel. And there's also a video tutorial for the edge stitch on it as well for the very top. I think these are so beautiful. And again, these are not necessarily spring, summer specific. You can make obviously these socks at any time. But I think the daintiness of them, the lace on them, they're so beautiful. And I'm jealous of the people that get to make them. And I will make it one day because they are just so pretty. Okay, now I want to move on to kind of the next section of the patterns that I have. So the next section is going to be tank tops. So I mentioned this in my last video, but I am someone, when the warmer weather hits, I am a tank top cardigan lover. That is like my wardrobe 90% of the time. I get very hot easily, but I also get very cold easily. So being able to kind of switch back and forth is like the most important thing to me. So I have found some wonderful free tank top patterns that I think will do just that for all the people that are like me and that love to be in tank tops in the warmer weather. The very first tank top that I want to share is called the Simple Summer Tank by Caitlin Barthold. So this is a really unique looking tank top, and at first glance, it's not like something super groundbreaking. Like, you've definitely probably seen tank tops like this before, but I don't know. Something about it, noticing the very thick kind of, not exactly square, but almost square neckline with the ribbing is just so enticing to me. I've seen a lot of tank tops that have like the I-cord straps and things, and that's beautiful for like the really hot days, stuff like that. But I think this, for me personally, is so much more practical with the thicker straps. It just makes it a little bit more wearable, and also the thought of not doing I-cord makes me very happy. But this is a worsted weight tank top, so it's definitely a bit on the heavier side. I would say this is probably more for the beginnings of summer, or maybe the ends of summer when fall is starting to come in. The recommended yarn is a cotton yarn, so it is Comfy Cotton Blend by Lion Brand. So that is the recommended yarn, so I'm sure the cotton will keep you more cool than obviously a wool would, but it still is a worsted weight yarn or worsted weight garment. The gauge for this pattern is 18 stitches and by 24 rows for 4 inches, and the recommended needle size is the US 7 and a US 8, or 4.5 millimeters and a 5 millimeters. The yardage recommended is between 275 and 550 yards, or 251 to 503 meters. The sizes available are an extra small to a 5XL. So this pattern on Ravelry is listed as $5, but there is a free version on their blog. This is also I believe a collab, or you can buy a kit with Lion Brand yarn. So in the kit, if you go to the website, it will have not only the pattern, but you can buy directly buy the recommended yarn from Lion Brand themselves. And I have done a kit with Lion Brand before. I have done a blanket kit, and it's really nice and convenient being able to know exactly how much yarn you need and use the yarn recommended and have the pattern all kind of shipped at once. So that was really fun. I definitely recommend it if this is like perhaps one of a beginner pattern or something that you don't really want to take any chances on with yarn substitutions. Doing the kits on Lion Brand is really helpful, and they have a wide variety of colors as well. So I think this tank top is just so unique, and there's a truck backing up outside, and I'm so sorry if you can hear that. So the very front is kind of that square neck, but in the back it is a bit lower, but it's still kind of that square. So I don't know, something about it it speaks to me. Honestly, it could be the color, because in the pictures, it is a dark brown color. And if you have watched any of my videos, I am so obsessed with this dark brown color these days. And maybe that's what drew it to me in the first place. But I think this is a beautiful tank top for the warmer months, and the fact that it is free makes it even better, and also available in 9 sizes is really great too. The next tank top I want to talk about is called the Bliss Tank by Alicia Plummer. So this is, I would say, more of your traditional, simple, like really staple tank top. It has kind of the O-neck with the thicker, more like a, I guess they call this tank tops, and camera soles are the ones with like the spaghetti strap. But I saw this and I honestly at first glance could not believe that it was knitted. It looks like something that you would buy at like Old Navy or like Lucky Brand jeans even. It just looks so just simple, but like exactly what you almost want a tank top to be, right? You want a tank top to be something that you can wear with like anything, and I think this is that tank top. This is a sport weight tank top with a gauge of 16 stitches by 24 rows for 4 inches. The recommended needle size is US 9 with 5.5 millimeters. The yardage ranges from 380 to 1,100 yards, or 347 to 1,006 meters. This also comes in a very wide range of sizes, ranging from 31 to 176.5 centimeters. So a very, very large amount of sizes. This pattern is also knit flat, but there is a way to convert it to knit in the round in the pattern. So this is just such, again, a simple staple tank top that I think you could easily wear. Like if you are looking for something to dip your toes in for like the summer knits, I think this could be it, because I think this is something that I don't want to say you won't take the risk on, but I mean, it's just such a simple tank top that is such a staple. Like I have a tank top just like this in my closet right now, not knit, but that I bought at, I think, Target. Like it is the tank top. Like when you think about tank top, this is it. And I think it's really beautiful and it's perfect for the warmer months. And I have one more tank top to share. This is the Tip Top Tank by Emmeline Boldon, or Boldane. So sorry if I'm mispronouncing that as well. So this is a kind of similar tank top. This is definitely more of a cropped and wide, square-ish tank top with thinner sleeves and definitely meant to be a bit more loose. So this is a seamed tank top, but there is a version to knit in the round if you would like as well, which is really awesome. It is a sport weight tank top with a gauge of 21 stitches for 4 inches, and the recommended needle sizes are US 4 and a US 3, or 3.5 and a 3.25 millimeter. The recommended yardage is 361 to 890 yards, or 330 to 814 meters. The sizes available are extra small to 2XL. So this pattern also comes with, I guess not so recent, but in February of 2023, there is a free bow tie sleeve expansion, which I believe is the bow tie top, or maybe the actual sleeves. I will have to re-download this pattern because I actually do have this pattern, but I haven't re-downloaded that. And then there's also a finer gauge weight available as well by the same creator. So this is just, again, I think it's a more loose, kind of airy tank top that I imagine wearing at like the beach or the pool, something you can like slip over easily, or wearing it with a kind of high-waisted skirt would look so gorgeous. I don't know. It's, again, another simple tank top, but in a different way, right? The other one I feel like is simple. Like you would literally see that at the store in the very staple, like expensive shops, whereas this I feel like is more, this is gonna sound really stupid, but like younger, like relatable. That's the best way I can describe this. Like I could see this probably at like Urban Outfitters or American Eagle. It's very, very cute, and it has a V-neck front and a V-neck back. So I feel like this might, wearability wise, if you are sensitive to the undergarments that you wear, maybe this one won't be as wearable with your undergarments, but again, I think it's such a simple tank, and it really could be even for lounging at home. Like, I know at home, if it's hot, I'm putting a tank top on. I'm sitting on the couch in my tank top, so this could be one of those as well. It's just such a, again, simple tank top. It's really nice, and I really like the bow extension, the bow tie things that I am seeing here now. I think that is the extension or expansion available, but I think it is just so cute. Okay, the next pattern I have to share with you is not a tank top, but it's not a sweater. It is a vest. So this is called See My Vest Worsted Version by Emily Boldown as well. This is another pattern by them, and they do so many free patterns. So if you're definitely looking at getting into some garment knitting, I would recommend them. They have a raglan, I know for a fact. They have the tank top we just talked about, and then a vest. They have so many nice free patterns, and the instructions are very clear and very easy to follow for a beginner. It was one of my very first projects. I didn't finish it, more because I was getting so excited with other things, but the instructions were very clear, even for like a beginner. So as the title suggests, this is a worsted weight vest, and I will have to see if they have a lighter gauge one. I believe they do, but or a different gauge, but this is a worsted, so the gauge is 18 stitches by 25 rows for 4 inches, and the recommended needle size is a US 7 and a US 4, so a 4.5 millimeters and a 3.5 millimeters. The recommended yardage is 385 to 995 yards, or 352 by 910 meters. The sizes available go from extra small to 5XL. So this is I believe, top-down vest. Yes, it looks like it is going to be a top-down vest, starting from the back panel, picking up stitches for the front, and then connecting together. I think this is just, again, such a simple and also very versatile piece. Sweater vest, I have made a sweater vest in the past, and I sometimes wear it over shirts, or I also just wear it as is. With a worsted weight, you definitely, I feel like it would be more suited to wear as is, to be a little bit lighter in the sense for like the warmer weather. But again, this is also one that isn't necessarily spring or summer, and this could be worn all year round, but I think this is also a good transition piece into summer as well. Kind of when it's still a little cold out, but not exactly too hot yet. I think a sweater vest is perfect for layering as well. The next garment I want to talk about is a sweater. So this is the Summer Lotus by Maria Solvatov. I'm super sorry if I mispronounced this, but it is a lightweight, airy raglan sweater. I believe that is a collaboration with Hobbii, so this is available on Ravelry, but you download it from the Hobbii website. And I actually have this pattern, and I have been wanting to make it, but I've been waiting to get enough mohair to make like a scrappy version, and I'm almost there. So it's coming soon, and I'm really excited. So this is a fingering weight garment. So it is 2 laces together, and it's recommended with mohair in the pattern itself. And I know I'm a big fan of like yarn substitutions, but I think for this sweater in particular, I think the mohair really just makes it what is so appealing about it, right? Because it is kind of this loosely knit, fuzzy, light, airy sweater. And obviously you could make it work with the normal fingering weight, but I think there's just something that really makes it with the mohair. And it's obviously recommended with the Hobbii mohair. It's held double, so 2 balls as you work together. The gauge is 15 stitches by 21 rows for 4 inches, and you use quite big needles for this, which again really makes it so appealing. So you use US 10 and US 8, or 6 millimeter and a 5 millimeter, which really gives it that big, airy, light feeling. The yardage recommended is between 1,314 to 2,190 yards, or 1,202 and 2,003 meters. The sizes range from extra small to 2XL, and there are a bunch of other languages available other than English as well. So this is a negative ease tank top, or sweater, apologies, but I think you could easily make it oversized if that is more your vibe. It is a simple raglan, and it does not have any ribbing either, which I think also is like super appealing to me. And I think it just is kind of a raw edge at the bottom. It looks like, I haven't read through the pattern completely, but either a raw edge or potentially an I-cord. I would have to read it, but one of those two. But I don't know, I think it's just so perfect to pull on, like, again, in the transition months where it's like cold in the morning but warmer in the afternoon, but not like hot, you know. I think this is so beautiful, and I have been waiting to make it, and I'm almost there, so I will be making it. And I just also think the colors are so beautiful too, the pink and the green in the pictures that are shown both on Hobie and on Ravelry. Just like spring. It's like spring flowers and grass, and it's just, I think it's so beautiful. My last sweater that I have to share is a all over lace pattern, and this is, I again am probably going to really butcher the name, Sekini. It is a design by Hannah, and I'm not going to try to pronounce their last name because I will 100% mess that up, but I will put it somewhere on the screen as I've done with the rest of them. But this is an all-over lace sweater. And when I saw this, my jaw dropped. I could not believe that, one, this tank top exists, and two, that it is, sweater exists, and two, that it is free. Like, excuse me? This is beautiful. I have never seen anything like it before. It is just so, like, stunning. I don't know. There's just something about it. It is a kind of, I guess, similar vibe to the summer sweater that I just talked about. Kind of that very airy, light sweater. Like, when you think of spring and summer, sweaters are not really what you would think of, but I think this kind of sweater is perfect as just a sweater itself, or a layering piece as well. This is a fingering weight sweater. The gauge is 19 stitches by 20 rows for 4 inches, and the recommended needle size is US 5 and US 6, so 3.75 and 4 millimeters. So it's quite a bigger gauge for a fingering weight garment, which I think also helps with just how airy and light it looks. The recommended yardage for this pattern is between 620 to 695 yards, or 567 to 636 meters. The only negative thing that I will say about this sweater itself and pattern is there are only 2 sizes available. So there's size 1 and size 2, and the finished measurements for those 2 sizes are 33.75 and 43.75 inches. Yeah, bust circumference. It is meant with some positive ease, but that doesn't really make up for the fact that there are only 2 sizes. So that is like a big bummer for me personally. I am in one of those sizes, but it's a very small range of sizes. So that's definitely a big negative with this pattern, but it is free. So if you are interested in this pattern, it is free on Ravelry, but just note that there are only 2 sizes. There are also not that many projects. I believe this could potentially be, this is a very brand new project. This is published in March 2025. So hopefully in the future, there will maybe be some more sizes or some more size inclusive options, whether it be a different pattern or just added to this pattern itself. But regardless, this is just such a beautiful pattern. You start with the bottom up, and then you split for the front and the back, and then work the arms in the round. All over yarn, all over lace. So I believe there is a chart. I haven't downloaded it yet, but I can only imagine that it's a chart in there. But I don't know. I think it's so pretty. I think it would be pretty again for any season. This at the winter time with like a little bit of like a sparkly yarn. It would look gorgeous. And the very last pattern I have to share with you today is the Step by Step cardigan by Florence Miller. So this is kind of a lot of, well, I would say Florence's designs. This is the cardigan version, but she does have a step-by-step sweater version, and that was my very first knitting project, and I think I've seen a lot of people it be their very first knitting project. And while I have not made this cardigan myself, I can really speak for Florence's way of writing patterns and describing them too. I think it's very, very, very beginner friendly. So this is technically not a free pattern on Ravelry, but it is a pay what you want pattern. So you can pay the $6 British pound, Great British Pound. I think that's the correct currency, or about $8 US. Or she does have options for discounts for 50% off or 100% off, which would make it free. So this is a worsted weight cardigan, so definitely a bit on the heavier side. But again, if you are like me and like live in cardigans and tank tops, it doesn't really matter how thick the cardigan is. It's more of a on and off thing anyway. But the way that Florence writes her patterns is just so beautiful. And I think you could probably also make adjustments to make it any size. Once you really get down, cardigans are fairly simple, so you could definitely make you could definitely make adjustments. Sorry, I'm like reading the pattern as I'm like talking and the words are injecting themselves into my mouth, but I think once you make it, I think you definitely adjust according to the yarn that you want to use. But for this pattern in particular, it is a worsted weight. The gauge is 16 stitches by 21 rows for 4 inches, and the recommended needle sizes are US 6, US 7, and US 9, or 4 millimeter, 4.5 millimeter, and a 5.5 millimeter. The recommended yardage is between 766 to 1531 yards and 700 to 1400 meters. There are several sizes available, ranging from A to I, lettered alphabetically. And then they are designed to fit a bust measurement between 75 to 155 centimeters with 15 centimeters of positive ease. So this is just a really simple standard cardigan. I think it's great for a first cardigan. I think it's great for kind of understanding cardigans too. I've made a couple cardigans now, and being able to really understand the construction, I think would be able to really draft my own. And I think starting with a free pattern is just so good. And again, I'm like a big Florence fangirl. I love Florence. I love her patterns. I love watching her videos. And I think this is her step-by-step sweater and her step-by-step cardigan, I think, are really great patterns. So that is all the free patterns that I have for you today. I hope that you were able to take some inspiration from some of them, or maybe get ideas of other garments that you are interested in making. If you have any other free patterns that you really love and would like to share, I would love to hear about them down below. And if you have any plans to knit any of these patterns, or if you have any summer plans yourself for other patterns, I would also love to hear that down below. You can follow me on Instagram over at Sugarine Yarn. I'll have everything linked down and below, all the patterns that I've talked about today, and also my socials as well. So thank you so much for taking the time to look at these patterns with me, and I will see you in the next video.